In a survey of attitudes towards public schools in a particular country or county, 1,200 out of 1,500 Hispanic parents had a favorable opinion about their schools. In the same survey, 700 out of 1,100 African American parents had a favorable opinion about their schools. Does this information suggest that there's a difference between the beliefs of the two groups of people about their schools? Perform the appropriate statistical test to make your decision at the 1% significance level. Show your work and write a sentence that puts your answers in the context of the problem. So the null hypothesis is that the two groups have the same opinion, which means if I subtract their proportions that said they had a favorable opinion, I would get 0. The alternative is that that they believe differently. So it doesn't say that one has a better opinion than another, so therefore we just say that they are not equal proportions. So if I subtract them, I shouldn't get 0. Again, our assumptions, we have to assume that we have an independent simple random sample because it doesn't say. And then the normality assumption, n times p and n times q need to be bigger than 5, and in this case they all are. So here's our formula for our z-score. So what we observed, right, so 80%, so the proportion of Hispanics is 1,200 out of 1,500, which was 80%. The proportion of African Americans is 700 out of 1,100, which is 63.6%. So there's what we observed minus what we expected, right? So right there, minus what we expected, which is that there's no difference, divided by the standard deviation. But again, there's an error here. This is 1 over 1,500 plus 1 over 1,100. So that number right there should have been 1 over 1,500 plus 1 over 1,100. And then P combined and Q combined. And remember, P combined and Q combined, or your book calls them, remember, it's P bar and Q bar, the average proportions. So we just add up the 1,200 and the 700 and divide it by 1,500 plus 1,100. So that's, what, 1,900 out of 2,600, which reduces to 73%. So 73% proportion, so 27% failure rate, and then we find our z-score. So we're going to go, let's see, we're going to go stat test to proportion z-test, and there were 1,200 out of 1,500, and for the other group there were 700 out of 1,100, and we were doing a two-tailed test, and we calculated out. And our z-score is 9.29, and the probability of having a z-score so high is next to nothing. You could write the 1.5 times 10 to the negative 20. So close to 0, we just call it 0. So we conclude that the two populations do in fact have different opinions about their schools.